guys, it's Champion Ashley here, and welcome back to another discussion video with my good friend Andy here. Say hi!
Hey!
How's it going? It's been just way too long since we've done a discussion video, and with the new rumors about the Nintendo NX and the recently released or announced Pikmin 4 being out in the public consciousness, I guess it's time for us to bust out the new discussion engine and talk about with Andy here. So, what are your thoughts about the NX rumors?
Talking about the rumors in in a separate dialogue down the road here, I do find Miyamoto's revelation regarding Pikmin 4 to be kind of out of the blue, really. He just came out of left field and just kind of revealed this information here, which I found kind of curious. He didn't upfront say what platform the game will be on, whether it be on the Wii U or the NX. But I'm pretty sure it's a safe assumption to assume that it's going to be a launch for the NX. The reason why I say this is because of the recent Square Enix leak about Dragon Quest XI.
Yes.
That game is going to be slotted to be released around 2016, and that's really not too far away from here. Pikmin 4 and Miyamoto already said it's pretty much finished at this point. So I definitely, at the very least, I do reckon that we will see the NX be revealed sometime next year, possibly E3, but that's my 2 cents about it.
Yeah, I was a bit curious about the Dragon Quest announcement, because they did say there were going to be NX release, and then they kind of backed down. I was like, you're drawing a little bit more attention with that kind of backing down. So I'm like, probably, they did say that it was going to be for the NX, so I'm going to say that Pikmin 4 is also going to be for the NX, which is also another weird thing, because they said that Pikmin 4 is almost done, but they didn't give a release date. So I'm like, how can you say that it's almost done, but not give a release date? That's a little bit suspicious.
Exactly. Really, at this point, it's already a safe assumption to assume that the latest Pikmin iteration will be on the NX just because of that particular inference right there.
Yeah, and again, going back to the almost done quotation, why haven't they given any gameplay on it if it's almost done? You're just being really quiet about Pikmin 4, not giving any gameplay or a release date, but saying that it's almost done. I think that what Miyamoto's doing is just holding back Pikmin 4 until we get until we get confirmation about the NX, which will probably not be for a long time.
Right. But I do find it kind of weird that Miyamoto just said this information right out of the blue, but to Eurogamer, really.
Yes. I would have thought that he had done it like maybe PAX Prime or something like that. But even then, if he had did it at PAX, that still would have been a little bit suspicious.
Exactly.
He couldn't have done it at E3. So, moving on, I was reading an article before we started recording about how the NX could not be supporting disk drives. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that patent, it's definitely a patent from Nintendo and is not using an optical disk drive, though it is alluded to be using SD cards. And some people are inferring that this console, whether it is the new console or not, will not be using disk drives, or it will use some type of SD card software. Okay, let's assume right now the NX won't be using optical disk drives. That means they'll either do the SD card slot, like similar to what the 3DS is doing, or go full on digital. I doubt Nintendo will go on full on digital, purely because out of all the companies out there, Microsoft, Sony included, Nintendo is the least inclined to do Wi-Fi support with anything. In fact, they're kind of backwards in that sense. So I doubt it's going to be full on Wi-Fi. That being said, if it does go the SD card route, technically, SD cards are able to hold more data than traditional disks. Maybe this is just something you just want to put in more content within the SD cards. But at this point, I'm not really sure whether or not this is the new console. Perhaps it could be, but I definitely want to see more information about it. And honestly, I'm not too sure what to believe if this is Nintendo's new gimmick, per se, for the new NX.
Yeah, I mean, they are rumors after all, but here's what my thought on those leaks were, is that I've been having this thought for quite a while now, ever since I got my first ever console, which was a Wii back like a couple of years ago, is that the one thing that always made me annoyed about Nintendo consoles, now this is really nutty, what I want them to do for the NX is to make it both DVD and game support. Now, I'll explain this, how it supports discs, but not DVDs, like playing movies and such. What I want the NX to do is to make it game compatible, and you can play movies and music and such with the NX. That would make my money way more worth to pretty much replace like a DVD player. That would probably make the NX more worth my money if it's going to be around the same amount of money as the Wii U.
Right. There's one thing I do want to make note here. If let's say the NX doesn't have an optical disc drive, in terms of the size and the cost of the console, it would be cut down. Putting a disc drive in a console, that's a lot of space right there. And for I believe that's the current Xbox One and the PS4, like pretty much, I believe like a quarter or something around the space is just used for disk drives and disk space, really. So if they cut that out, they could significantly decrease the size of the console and then make it more, I would say, more of a bargain for consumers to buy. That being said, though, I'm not particularly sure if it's the right path for Nintendo to do, to go so differently and so distinct from their other competitors in the market. If they are doing this, if they're not promoting a disc drive, then I'm really curious to see what kind of new implementations, new kind of innovations that Nintendo brings to the table to make the console viable in the market.
And one of the I lost my track of thought. What was it? I think that oh yeah, the Wi-Fi. Nintendo isn't really known to be producing Wi-Fi or players from all around the world, because as we've seen from Super Smash Bros., I play Super Smash Bros. Not religiously like your buddy HMK does, but I play it like a few times Wi-Fi wise, and the lag is terrible. It is complete terrible, and that's what always annoyed me about Smash, is that the Wi-Fi was complete bad. Which is, Splatoon was a jump in the right direction, which it was pretty well done how the Wi-Fi was, but that's only one step in the right direction. I'm hoping that they don't go disk drive, or actually they do go disk drive, because I think that Wi-Fi distribution of games isn't the way that Nintendo is supposed to go. That's just my opinion, though.
I definitely would have to agree. That being said, Nintendo has always made a statement, just being very, very distinct from Western companies, or at least those of Microsoft and perhaps Sony. They just really want to be the oddball out and make them look more unique from their competitors. That being said, whether or not they should be unique, that's really up to the interpretation of who's going to be the next president of Nintendo, which they have not, as now announced yet. Shigeru Miyamoto, along with another name that eludes me, are the acting co-presidents at the time.
Yeah.
The true successor hasn't been revealed yet, so it is kind of troubling to see like what's going to happen with this console. I'm pretty sure this what this console is has nothing to do with the very unfortunate loss of the late Satoru Iwata.
Mm-hmm.
The console has probably already been planned out and made like way before his death came. So I don't think his death will have too much of an impact as of the moment. Perhaps in the future, but not right now. That being said, I don't really know what to come up with this. I'm definitely curious about the NX, and I'm very, very excited to see what Nintendo will bring to the table. But it is worrying to substance. A lot of people are considering if Nintendo doesn't do well with this console, then as a company, they will suffer. And I do see that inference has some merit, but I definitely want to see more information about it. After all, there's Pikmin 4 and Dragon Quest 11. But even though I never played any of those series games.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Miyamoto did say that he wants to bring the Mario series into a new light, and which is pretty curious to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, are you transitioning to Mario Galaxy 3, Annie? Because I heard you say Mario. I'm like, well, we were going to have a plan on doing Mario Galaxy 3. So what do you think about Mario Galaxy 3 possibly coming to the NX? Because Miyamoto did hint at Mario Galaxy 3 being a possibility for the NX, but they were a bit worried about the controls or the 3D camera giving motion sickness to like the players. So how do you think about that? All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. We were having a little bit of technical problems. So getting back on topic, what do you think about the Super Mario Galaxy 3 hinting from Shigeru Miyamoto?
Well, really, I'm not too sure how to feel about it. Ever since Super Mario Maker just recently came out, and a lot of people are having loads of fun with that, Miyamoto really stressed that he wanted to bring the formula of Mario Bros. Into a brand new spectrum, which I'm totally excited for. Really, I rather the Galaxy series be discontinued and they start something fresh, something new, a true successor to the Galaxy series, whatever that might be. Uh, I am excited to see a brand new Mario iteration. I'm a huge fan of Mario. I've been playing all the games since I was a child. But really, I do find it a bit reassuring that Miyamoto is really trying to innovate the Mario formula, even now to this point in time, since it's been 30 years at this point that Mario has been on the shelves. So I do find it reassuring, and I'm pretty sure, like, one prediction I have about the NX is that we'll have a launch Mario, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a brand new adventure. It could be something akin to, let's say, Mario Bros. U or something along those lines.
What I was actually thinking of, because when you said had something new from Mario, you gave me an idea that maybe possibly I was thinking also yesterday that maybe they could make a sequel to like maybe Super Mario 64, like maybe have it in the same setting, but yet with a better story and better gameplay.
Yeah, I could certainly see that.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think that Super Mario 3D World was actually a great example of what Miyamoto wanted to do with the Mario series, because it's like the traditional 2D Mario platforming, but it has a little twist with it, and being able to roam around the overworld seemed actually quite like a fresh new idea. And Super Mario 3D World was a great game, and I really wish I would see more of that in the future.
Yeah, definitely have to agree with you. One thing I did love about Super Mario 3D World was the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah, the music was just phenomenal. And like, I do reckon the music of Mario will always be good. That's just something that the series has always been known for.
Yeah.
But like, in regards to gameplay mechanics, Miyamoto has always been one to innovate. I do want to see the 3D world mechanics fleshed out, but also be innovative at the same time, whatever that might be for an NX iteration. But I would definitely agree on that statement. I would do love to see something akin to 3D world, but more fleshed out, more innovative, and more creative in that sense.
Yeah, that would be. It would be like a sequel to Super Mario 3D World, but have a branch off from that formula and give it a little bit more innovation, because Super Mario 3D World had a lot of innovation, but the question is, can you go more innovative than Super Mario 3D World? And I would say yes, you can, but it would take a lot of brain power to do so. So if they are able to pull that off, then I'll be very happy. And I'd be very happy that I put a lot of money into the NX, because I want to buy it. I didn't really want to buy the Wii U, because by the time that I did want to, which was around like a couple months ago, the NX was in the air, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to wait until the NX comes out. And the next segment is the dreaded Zelda Wii U. I don't really have no idea why we dread going over this topic, because it's become a very heated topic among Zelda fans. I was reading this article today how fans of the Zelda series are being divided by the graphics difference for Zelda Wii U, and I was really starting to get a little worried how they better start releasing more information quick, otherwise as the fans are going to tear each other apart over this game. So what do you think?
Well, revealing information at this point is not in Nintendo's interest for whatever reason. If they did want to release information, they would have already done so. Reggie already confirmed that much at last year's or this year's E3. So if they wanted to reveal the information about Zelda Wii U, they could have already done so. But why haven't they? It's been a widely assumed assumption that Zelda Wii U will dual release on the Wii U and the NX, kind of similar to what Twilight Princess does. I am confident that Zelda Wii will be on the Wii U. It's just they have announced that to this point way too many times. It will make some sort of appearance on the Wii U. The NX version may just be a port, and that makes me feel kind of weird. Because the thing is, if Eiji Aonuma has stated on multiple occasions that he wants to bring out the full functionality of the Wii U gamepad. And let's say if Zelda Wii U did make it on the NX, that would make the NX able to use the Wii U gamepad as well. And if that's the case, if Zelda Wii U is making it to the NX, which I am, I am the strong proponent of that, or I do subscribe to that notion, that would mean that the NX will be able to use a wide variety of different controls. Let's say the regular Wiimotes or the Wii Pro controller or the Wii U gamepad. Smash Brothers had a similar sense, but that's a whole nother different concept. So I do reckon that the Wii U or the NX, I'm sorry, will be able to use a plethora of different control schemes. Whether or not Zelda Wii U will be a port on the NX or maybe some sort of advanced version, that's really yet to be seen, because really we don't have much information to go on. We have one teaser and one pseudo gameplay trailer.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that maybe what they could do, they could take some inspiration from Majora's Mask 3D. I know I'm still grasping on Majora's Mask 3D, even though it's been like months since that game's released. But I'm thinking that maybe they could do the same thing that they did with Majora's Mask 3D, where they can make it on the Wii U and the NX, but have the NX have some extra features to make you want to buy the NX over the Wii U when it comes to Zelda. I think that strategy actually worked a little bit well.
Yeah, and when it came to Twilight Princess, I believe the Wii version of Twilight Princess sold 3 times more than it did on the GameCube. And it was mainly because how well it was marketed. It was marketed more as a Wii game than it was a GameCube game. Even though it was developed for the GameCube originally, and then they just mirrored it. I do see, since the difference between Twilight Princess and Zelda Wii U is that we did get a substantial, steady amount of information flow to up the Twilight Princess's release. In Zelda Wii U, not so much. We really don't have a bunch of information to go on, and the reason why that's the case is maybe they're trying to do something differently with releasing the Wii U NX versions of the game. I do believe there will be differences between both versions. I'm starting to believe that more and more to the case. I don't think it's going to be a straight-on port just for the NX like what Twilight Princess occurred. There will be some type of differences, whatever differences that might be. If they don't want release information about Zelda Wii U, even though it's going to be on the Wii U, and even though that Reggie Fils may have already stated that they could have showed information, but they didn't. The only reason why they wouldn't want to do that is either because the game is not going to come out anytime soon. And if the game isn't really coming out anytime soon, it might just be leading up to the Nintendo's later console, the NX. And if that's the case, maybe Nintendo has something special planned for revealing new information on the cross-platforming. And that, to me, is the only logical conclusion that I can currently muster. Maybe there's something else I'm missing, but that's the current spectrum that I'm looking at here.
I mean, Andy, the Game Awards? I mean, no, I know I shouldn't be assuming that, because don't get me wrong, the Game Awards or its gameplay trailer was phenomenal. It came out of nowhere, but I feel like maybe they're doing that again because the Game Awards isn't coming out until December, which kind of could be considered 2016, which means they can start talking about the NX, but I mean, I don't really know. I mean, there's always the possibility, because no one was expecting Zelda Wii U at the Game Awards, so maybe they could be doing that again. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that.
You know what? I do have to give you some credit for that, because the thing is, Miyamoto just came out of nowhere with Pikmin 4 information.
Yes.
So at this point, it's really anybody's game, really. It could do that, but logically, it'll probably be a good idea just to hold off on information and just unleash everything at next year's E3, which is still a long ways off, but it sounds feasible.
Let's just assume that it's the Lucas trailer all over again. Literally, they did say Lucas came out of nowhere, so maybe they could do that with Zelda Wii U. Zelda Wii U came out of nowhere. And this is actually going to be part of a theory that I'm planning on making for the channel. So all you viewers better get ready for a Zelda theory coming up, is that I'm starting to see way more similarities between Zelda Wii U and Twilight Princess. Even Anuma said that there's going to be an entire region based on the overworld of Twilight Princess. But he could have said the Great Sea, because the Great Sea and Twilight Princess's overworld were very similar in size. But yet he said Twilight Princess. And so I said, why Twilight Princess and not Wind Waker? And just as a side note, I'm actually getting really excited about Hyrule Warriors Legends having Wind Waker aspects in the game. So, but that's a topic for another day. Mm-hmm. So, and what I'm thinking about is that maybe Twilight Princess and Zelda Wii U could be connected in some way. I mean, you guys are going to have to wait until the theory comes out to find out why, but I really do feel like Twilight Princess and Zelda Wii U are connected in some way, because I'm seeing stuff pop up everywhere that there's more similarities between Zelda Wii U and Twilight Princess more than any other Zelda, and so I'm thinking that maybe Zelda Wii U could be a continuation of the Twilight era or something else.
Here's the thing with that. A part of me really wants Nintendo to really expand upon the story within the Zelda Chronicle. I think all of us really want to, but here's the thing. Recently, Nintendo is going to be releasing Triforce Heroes. And with the interview with Hiromasa Shikata, is it Hiromasa?
Yes, that's his name.
Yeah, he stated that when an interview was given to him, said like, "What's the story and how does this fit with the Zelda timeline?" He said that he didn't even know himself, and he's the one that really is overseeing and creating the game. And it's always been Nintendo's philosophy to focus on the gameplay first and story second. And so I'm really under the impression that Nintendo does not care about the Zelda timeline at all. And this is coming from someone who writes Zelda theories all the time. It really doesn't make much sense in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, you did make a video about the Zelda timeline, and you proposed the idea it shouldn't even exist at all. So I think that goes for a point to you, sir.
Yeah. So, like, the Zelda timeline, if you look at it at face value, it really doesn't make too much sense. It's really just an excuse to say all of this stuff fits together, really.
It was pretty much just an excuse to shut up the theorists who were speculating about where the Zelda timeline goes. And pretty much as those guys were pretty much conducting interviews about that. So I'm like, we don't want to do these interviews. Let's just give them a Zelda timeline to just keep them quiet for at least a while. Or at least that's what I thought.
Right.
It's just, Zelda Wii U was just a mysterious title that we pretty much had to know almost zero about. And hopefully that's going to change soon, because I've been following this game ever since its reveal, and I've just been wanting so badly more information. Because it looks amazing. It looks like an amazing Zelda title, and I want to learn more. But apparently Nintendo doesn't want that philosophy.
Yeah. Like, really, Nintendo's philosophy is just focusing on the game play aspects. Really, everything else comes second. I think it's just that's just been the current generational attitude with Nintendo currently. It could change in the future, but I do like what Nintendo is doing in terms of gameplay wise. Always been the more innovative kind. I like to branch out. I'm not sure what steps or what kind of new information that Zelda Wii U will have in the future, but I do think that's going to be a while, months, that we won't get any information about Zelda Wii U.
It's a sad day for every Zelda fan when they hear that. It's a really sad day. So let's actually move on from less depressing news to actually a topic that I've really wanted to talk to with Andy. I don't think that you've actually talked about this. Is that it's more akin to Pokemon, actually. So we're moving over to Pokemon aspects, because we got some really huge news about a few days ago about the newest Zygarde art form actually being leaked through CoroCoro, and a lot of people are assuming that this is pretty much confirming Pokemon Z is actually a real thing, and that the new anime that's actually going to be coming out in October named Pokemon X, Y, and Z. So what do you think about that? Do you think that Pokemon Z is confirmed, or do you think that we still have to wait a little while for that?
Well, I do feel like we'll wait a while longer until its proper reveal. One thing I did find kind of curious is that I believe I heard an interview a while ago saying that some member of Game Freak said that they weren't going to do a Pokemon Z because that's too predictable. But now
Junichi Masuda said that.
Yeah, but now they're doing that anyways, which is kind of weird, but okay.
Little bit backing down on that interview, aren't you, Mr. Masuda?
Yeah.
It's just, I'm really excited because I'm a huge, giant Pokemon fanatic, and going without a Pokemon game for a year is really unusual for Nintendo and Game Freak, because doing a yearly Pokemon game is almost a given. I mean, they've been doing it, I think, since Pokemon Black and White, and that was like back at 4 years ago. So it's probably a given. So maybe, or there was also something about, there was an interview back in August where this guy from Game Freak said that there's going to be way more plans for 2016, and how the new Pokemon tournament is not actually going to be the only thing coming from 2016. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I haven't been keeping up too much on the Pokemon tournament scene, but one thing I do want to bring out is that I'm not a big fan of the title of the game, Pokemon Tournament.
It's a little bit too generic. I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's a good title. I mean, it's a perfectly valid one, but I felt like they could have done a little bit more with the title to make it a little bit more creative. And the same thing goes for Pokemon Z. Like, I'm a little bit with Junichi Masuda on that. Pokemon Z seems a little bit too predictable.
Right. And lately, at least the Pokemon brand has been very prevalent in the media. We had the new reveal of Pokemon Go, that mobile game.
Oh, yeah, the Pokemon Go thing was also a huge reveal. What are your thoughts on that, actually?
Actually, I'm very skeptical because first off, if it's on the mobile platform, that assumes that's going to be geared towards the casual crowd, which is not really a new thing for Pokemon. Pokemon has always been more geared towards the casual community, but then it has like a facade of the hardcore community underneath through EV and IV training and things like that.
Yes, the method to melt your brain down. Good job, Andy. I swear, I just get so confused when it comes to that, but I'm getting off track. Continue.
Right. I'm just wondering how in depth the Go platform is going to be in terms of the other handheld iterations. Go could be a very, it could be just let's say a copy, or let's say something akin to what you see, let's say, in the Z version that may or may not be revealed, but more likelihood it will. So I'm curious to see what will come into it. I'm reckoning it's going to be one of the more accessible games in the, let's say, the Pokemon series of multiplicity of games and all of this. So I am curious to see, but I am a bit skeptical on how far it's going to go. But looking at the commercial and how much they invested into that commercial, they do have some faith into the project.
I mean, they got Shigeru Miyamoto talking about it, so obviously they have a lot of faith that Pokemon Go is going to be a big success. And I don't actually own a phone. I know it's sad, but it looks interesting. I mean, virtual reality is a concept that I don't think Nintendo has ever touched before, and seeing how they're applying it to one of the casual brands is actually a little bit heartwarming, and might convince me to get a phone finally. So maybe they might be able to do something magical with that. I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps.
I mean, it's all about hoping that maybe Pokemon Go will pull through.
Yeah, definitely. But I am certainly curious. That's the thing. I'm not putting too much faith into it right now at the moment, but the commercial speaks otherwise, considering how much money they invested into it. So it is the Pokemon brand. It is going to sell.
Yeah.
That being said, is that how in depth will this particular game will be? I do want to see more information about it. We don't really have really much gameplay footage at all, except for the last 2 seconds of the commercial or the trailer. So I'm definitely more curious than anything else, but I'm more skeptical than really anything else because we do have that new information about Pokemon Z coming out, and that's Game Freak's new iteration of the Pokemon series or the handheld mainline series. So I'm definitely curious whether or not there's going to be some sort of interaction between, let's say, the Go version and the other games. For example, let's say you have the Pokken Tournament game. Will you be able to, let's say, connect with your 3DS and transport other Pokemon, or do the same thing with the Go version?
You mean your phone?
Yeah, or both. I mean both, actually, with Pokken Tournament as well. Let's say if you have both of them, then you can somehow do multiplicity between that, and also with the Go platform as well. That's been something that Game Freak has always been fond of, really, ever since we had Battle Revolution on the Wii. It's always been something that they've been more akin to. So I do see that both Pokken Tournament and Pokemon Go will have some sort of interconnected playability between, let's say, the Z version or any kind of future iterations down the line.
You know what's even more hilarious, Andy, is the fact that Pokemon is the game that is the least likely to lag when it comes to like battling. I always find that so hilarious. Nintendo can't perform Wi-Fi in any other Nintendo platform other than Pokemon. I should make a meme out of that after this. It's really funny. So I think that's I think that's it as we've got at here. I mean, we could talk about Hyrule Warriors Legends and such. What are your thoughts on the newly announced aspects for Legends? Are you hyped even more, or has your impression of the game stayed the same?
Well, my particular stance is akin to what Nintendo Box believes about the game. He's another YouTuber. That I'm not really too fond of it. I understand that 3DS is a larger install base and more people can play Hyrule Warriors, and that's all well and good. But it really seems like a watered down port of the regular Hyrule Warriors game on the Wii U. In the words, like, so I do agree on Nintendo Box's stance, and in a sense, it's kind of like Hyrule Warriors 2.5, really. There's more story elements and they added more characters. For example, the King of Red Lions, Tetra,
and the Helmarock King and Toon Link.
Right. So yeah.
Toon Link actually did come out of nowhere and quite surprised me because I thought that he was going to be like a skin for Young Link. However, that would look really weird how Toon Link is able to wield the Fierce Deities masks. That would have actually been hilarious. But I guess as he's going to be a character. And one of the things that I think might be able to win over some hearts of the Hyrule Warriors gaming community is the ability to transfer data, like characters, from the Wii U version over to the 3DS. I mean, that would be a cool mechanic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it would definitely save tons of hours of grinding through the adventure maps and stuff. And also that gives me a little bit of glimmer of hope because they said when Toon Link was revealed that he was going to be unlocked in other modes, which then got me thinking adventure map. And if that is actually true, that I would be completely shocked how a Wii U game is playable on the 3DS. And if that would say, I tip my hat off to you, Nintendo. Just how that really does show the power of the 3DS. How only they just have to lower the amount of enemy spawn and lower the graphics just to pour a Wii U game over to the 3DS. Just wow, my mind's blown.
Right.
It's incredible. So I think that's all the stuff that we have for today. Thank you very much, Andy, for coming out here to talk with me about all of these news stuff.
Oh, thank you. Anytime.
yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to do this more again. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been our discussion about the recently announced Pikmin 4 and the NX rumors. I've been Champion Ashley, and I'll see you guys in the next discussion.
See ya.